Delegates, it is a great pleasure to introduce the 2010-11 Maryland Teacher of the Year, Michelle Shearer. Michelle earned her BA in chemistry from Princeton University and her MS in Deaf Education from McDaniel College. The 2009 Maryland recipient of the Seaman Award for AP Teaching believes that, quote, chemistry is for everyone. Fluent in American Sign Language, she taught at the Maryland School for the Deaf, serving as content area leader and coach of the 2005 National Champion Academic Team. A dedicated mentor and former coach of varsity swimming and lacrosse at Urbana High School, she received the New Jersey Commissioner Distinguished Teacher Candidate Award and nominations for the Sallie Mae and Agnes Meyer Outstanding Teacher Awards. Michelle, and many of us were there, was just named Teacher of the Year a week ago yesterday. So we have the privilege of being one of her first official stops as Teacher of the Year. Let's give her a big hand as we congratulate her and welcome her to our stage.
A week ago, I received the honor of Teacher of the Year, and I began my acceptance speech by thanking teachers, and I ended my acceptance speech by thanking teachers. So it's only fitting that I would have my first speaking engagement here, thanking teachers, support staff, and educators. There are 67,000 teachers across the state of Maryland, and we could all be doing something else. We each could have chosen to pursue a different career, but we chose to make a difference by working with students directly in the classroom. Teachers by nature do not seek or expect recognition for doing what we love to do. We work behind the scenes, and we go about our business pouring our energy into the students we care about so much. And there are brilliant teachers who do extraordinary things in the classroom every day, in every school, in every county across this state. And in light of the current dialogue surrounding public education, I think it's essential that we communicate who we are, what we do, and what we need as we attempt to prepare students to succeed in the 21st century. Each of us has a unique story as to why we chose public education as the focus of our life's work. My mother was an elementary school music teacher, and I always wanted to be a teacher. And that goal was well received until I decided I wanted to go to Princeton University to become a teacher. And then the conversation changed. My high school classmates joked. They said, you know, Michelle, those who can do, those who can't teach. And at Princeton, my classmates questioned. They said, so you came to Princeton and all you want to be is a teacher? What a waste. And I'm sad to say that for a year or two, I was influenced by these comments. I was a chemistry major and I decided to be pre-med. But I quickly found myself on the verge of burnout. And I decided to learn sign language so that I could go volunteer with students at the New Jersey School for the Deaf in West Trenton. And it was my experience with those very special students that changed my life. It was a profound experience, and I decided that I needed to get back to what I was born to do. And I remember one day I was sitting working on a thermodynamics problem set, and I simply pushed back from my desk. And I decided that I was going to go find the teacher preparation office at Princeton University. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know how to get there, and I certainly didn't know what I was going to say. All I knew was that I needed to teach, and that I didn't care anymore what anybody else thought about that decision. And 20 years later, my decision to be a teacher still draws mixed reviews, which is perplexing and troubling. I should be able to use the words Princeton and teacher in the same sentence and not receive a look of surprise or disappointment. Obviously, the underlying implication is that teaching is easy. Well, we all know that that's not true. And anyone who thinks that teaching is easy should try it for a month. Let alone 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, like so many educators across the state of Maryland. I mean, teaching is a lot of things, but it isn't easy. It's tremendously gratifying, yes, but it's draining, it's exhausting, and it's frustrating because we listen to all these negative reports about public education, and then somehow teachers are expected to set aside all that bad news and come to school each day energized and ready to inspire young minds. We're asked to wear many different hats, and we're asked to juggle the ever-increasing responsibilities of the job. Well, we need support. Education is a shared responsibility. We are all responsible for the success of our students. And as Maryland Teacher of the Year, as I travel across the state, I have a message for the key stakeholders in the public education system, beginning with parents. Parents. Parents, we need you. We need your input and involvement. You are the most important people in your child's life, and you have the greatest power to influence their educational success. It's interesting because when I sit down with parents at conferences, the conference often begins with an apology. I teach AP chemistry, and the parent often sits down and says, "I'm sorry, Mrs. Shearer, I'm not going to be able to help my son with AP chemistry." And then they list a reason. They say either, "I never took chemistry. I took chemistry, but I hated it. I took chemistry, but I liked it, but I didn't do very well. I took chemistry, and I'm a scientist, but I'm too busy to help," and there's always a reason. And what I say to the parent is, I don't need you to help teach your student AP chemistry. I need you to make sure your student comes to school. When your child brings home a drop slip saying that my class is too hard and that they want to drop it, I need you to not sign that form. I need you to help teach the qualities of resilience, persistence, perseverance, all of these qualities that students are going to need to survive the 21st century. Students, we need your energy and creativity. Take ownership of your education. Self-advocate. Realize that education opens doors for your future. Develop initiative, independence, and all of those qualities that you're going to need to survive the 21st century. It's interesting, since I was named Frederick County Teacher of the Year, the question that I have received most frequently is, what do you do to motivate and challenge students? That's the question. What do I do to motivate and challenge students? We need to turn that around. The challenge is to motivate students to succeed themselves and to want to take ownership in their own education. Community members, we need your support and your optimism. Celebrate students' efforts to make positive contributions to their communities, and invest in your public schools, even if you don't have school-age children. And yes, participate in the constructive debates about the issues that affect us all, but acknowledge and recognize that teachers are the closest to the situation. We know best what works and what doesn't, so please trust us. And finally, teachers. Of course, we often share more than our share of the responsibility. And we really are the spark. We have to provide the personal energy to help inspire students in the classroom. And we all know that teachers have great individual power to affect a student's life. And we also know that we inspire students in intangible ways that could never be measured by a test score. And what makes teaching so rewarding and yet so exhausting is that as teachers, we breathe life into the classroom even while we gasp for air ourselves. So as I travel across the state as Maryland Teacher of the Year, I plan to communicate this message of shared responsibility. As a chemistry teacher, I also hope to promote STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for all students K through 12. And specifically to reach out to students who have traditionally been underrepresented in scientific fields. And I'm talking about our students with special needs and disabilities, our minority students, and our young women. And finally, I hope to elevate the level of respect for those of us who have chosen to commit our lives in the classroom and to draw positive attention to and celebrate the dedicated efforts of each of the 67,000 teachers in every school, in every county, across the entire state of Maryland. Thank you very much and have a wonderful school year.